Well, hello and welcome to the King Abdullah Sports City in Jeddah as Asian champions Ahli continue their defence of their AFC Champions League Elite crown against Sharjah of the United Arab Emirates on match day 5 of the West Region League stage. A clash between the winners of last season's 2 major AFC trophies. Well, Ahli are one of 4 clubs who've made an unbeaten start to this season's competition and go into tonight's game with a chance to go to the top of the table, with current leaders Al Hilal not in action until tomorrow when they face Al Shorta of Iraq. It's a warm evening, as you'd expect, in Jeddah. And well, Ahli are well placed to head into the knockout stage. The same can't be said of last season's AFC Champions League 2 winners, Sharjah, who with just 1 win from their opening 4 games are just about clinging on to the 8th and final qualification spot, having lost 3-0 to Al Ittihad on their last trip to Jeddah just 3 weeks ago. This is the second of 3 successive games against Saudi Pro League clubs. A really testing time then, with Al Hilal to come at home in a month's time. It's an historic night for these 2 clubs. It's their first ever meeting in any AFC competition. Ahli in 27 previous games against clubs from the United Arab Emirates have a good record. They've won 13, drawn 10 and lost 4. Sharjah tonight becoming the 8th different Emirati team that Ahli will have faced in AFC club competition. For Sharjah, it's a 15th previous game against clubs from Saudi Arabia. The record not so good: 3 wins, 3 draws and 9 defeats. They actually met Al Town 4 times, winning 2 of those, and 2 of them en route, of course, to winning the AFC Champions League 2 last season. Well, the Ahli fans await, and it's a side who have been in good form. They're currently 4th in the Saudi Pro League after 9 games. They are unbeaten, 5 wins and 4 draws, currently 5 points behind the all-conquering Al Nassr at the moment, who've won all 8 of their domestic league games this season, but currently 2 points off the top 3 AFC Champions League Elite places. Al Town in 3rd spot. Ahli are one of 3 unbeaten teams, along with Al Nassr and Al Hilal. Well, for Sharjah, it's been a difficult season so far. They've been struggling domestically and in this competition as well. Currently 11th of the 14-team United Arab Emirates Pro League after 8 games, just 2 wins, 5 losses from the opening 8 as well. Not a good start for a team who finished runners-up last season, albeit 12 points behind the champions Shabab Al Ahli. In this competition, they began with a victory on match day 1, but it remains their only win. They haven't won for 3 games since that 4-3 victory against Al Gharafa, which is actually Sharjah's only win in their last 7 games at this level of competition. 4 defeats in those 7. They've won 14 of 46 Champions League games in their history, losing nearly half of those with 20 defeats. Riyad Mahrez there at the front, wearing the captain's armband tonight for what is a rotated Al Ahli side. Matthias Jaisel, the German coach, suggesting the need for rotation. It's a busy period in the calendar, both domestically and in continental competition as well for Al Ahli. Al Ahli became the 3rd Saudi Arabian club to lift this trophy last season, giving their country a 7th success. Prior to their victory, only Al Ittihad and Al Hilal had been Asian champions. Only Al Ain twice have won it for the United Arab Emirates, the second as recently as 2024. But despite 3 Emirati clubs in this season's competition, Al Ain didn't qualify after a woeful campaign, both domestically and on the continent as well last season. So a real incentive tonight for Ahli then to move to the top of the West Region League table. Al Hilal will be expected to make it 5 wins out of 5 against Al Shorta tomorrow, but it will put a little bit of pressure on them at the top of the West Region. All 3 Saudi Arabian sides looking well placed to make it through to the round of 16. So let's take a look at the sides then. Matthias Jaisler rotates his squad tonight with 5 changes from the winner Al Sadd on match day 4. Abdul Rahman Al Sambi makes his first Champions League Elite appearance in goal. Fahad Al Rashidi also makes his bow in this season's competition, with Mohammed Yusuf, Saleh Al Shamat and Ziad Al Yahani all coming in to start tonight. Faris Al Burakai starts at centre forward, despite not having scored in 4 previous games in this competition this season. We have Mahrez, the captain tonight for Al Ahli. The returning Shaheen Abdallah wears the armband for Sharjah. Referee tonight from Uzbekistan, Ilgiz Tantashev, taking charge of his 3rd AFC Champions League Elite match this season. His 2nd in the West region, having overseen Al Hilal's 3-1 victory against Al Sadd. So 3 wins and a draw so far, just the 2 points dropped. Win number 4 expected tonight, given the respective form of the 2 sides. Sharjah have mixed things up a bit too, with 4 changes from the loss to Al Ahli's Jeddah rivals Al Ittihad. Captain Shaheen Abdullah returns to the defence. Brazilian-born Marcus Meloni returns for his 4th appearance. Tunisian international Firas Ben Abi slots back into the midfield, while up front there's no Caio Lucas, so Albanian Ray Manai, who scored twice in the 4-3 win against Al Gharafa, is back at centre forwards. Well, a season that's been going well. Al Ahli unbeaten in 4 games, 2 wins, 2 draws since a 3-1 loss here to Egyptian side Pyramids in the FIFA Intercontinental Cup in September. That's their only defeat in 8 games here. A 2-1 victory against Al Qadisiyah in the Saudi Pro League on Friday, keeping their current run going. They've won their last 3 games in all competitions. Matthias Jaisler, who led the club to their first Champions League success last season, hoping to do so again, but they'd be hoping for a better finish than the 5th place in the Saudi Pro League last season, which meant they had to win this competition to re-qualify for it, which they duly did. Sharjah have found life much more difficult in the AFC's top flight competition than they did in AFC Champions League 2 last season. And so we are just about ready to go. So it's Al Ahli against Sharjah from the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium in Jeddah. The defending champions of the AFC Champions League Elite from the Saudi Pro League up against Sharjah, the winners of last season's inaugural AFC Champions League 2. Currently 8th in the table. Al Ahli in 3rd after Tractor's victory, but they came into this round in 2nd place. Early ball delivered into the penalty area. Marcus Meloni is there though for Sharjah. An early corner for Al Ahli. Matthias Jaisler, a former German under-21 international, a young coach, only 37. Took over a couple of years ago now. It's a foul by Saleh. And a free kick for Sharjah. lost one and drawn one of their 2 away games in the AFC Champions League Elite this season. Beaten 3-0 by Al Ittihad in this very city, and drew 1-1 in Qatar against Al Sadd. Solid header away by Ibanez. And Yusuf with the touch back to Mohamed Suleiman. Ibanez switched out towards Mahrez. Africa Cup of Nations on the horizon soon for Riyad Mahrez. Here's Enzo Mio. And that's another corner for Ahli. Opportunity for Mahrez to deliver early on here. Swings it to the back post. Ibanez was up there and got ahead to it. Sharjah have a player down inside their own area. We're going back to when they previously qualified for this competition. Sharjah have not won away from home in 5 games. Lost 2 and drawn 3 since a 3-1 win in Iran away to Tractor back in August of 2023. That's their only away win in the last 9 in this competition, and they've mustered just 4 wins of 22 away from home. So on paper doesn't bode well for Sharjah, especially given their current struggles. They've lost their last 5 games in all competitions on arriving here since a 2-0 win at home to Al Dhafra in mid-October. That's their only win in 9. Form seems to have fallen off a cliff for a side who last season, remember, won Champions League 2 and finished runners-up in both the Emirates Pro League and the President's Cup, the main knockout cup competition. Here's Manai. Saror. Now a bit of space for Luan Pereira. Maloney on the overlap. Touches it back to Majid Rashid. Maloney. Sharjah just trying to settle into some possession, and they have themselves a free kick. Challenge on Khaled by Saleh Abu Al-Shamat. Shaheen with the free kick, floated out to Luan Pereira. Tried to make his way into the penalty area, but well defended by Mohamed Yusuf. Free kick for Al Ahli. Enzo Mio. Pereira just trying to close down, and did so. It's a goal kick for Al Ahli, though. Former RB Salzburg manager, who he led to 2 Austrian Bundesliga titles in 2022 and 2023. Former centre-back with Hoffenheim in his playing days, which at 37 wasn't that long ago. By Suleiman to Ibanez. Elusive in a bit of space, but it's fed back to the Brazilian Ibanez. He carried the ball out impressively, but his distribution wasn't quite so good to Matteo Dams, the Belgian left back. It's Tantashev just getting in the way. Ball played up towards Manai. There's Meloni. Suror. There's Meloni again. Good feed from Luan Pereira. And back with Cho Yu-min, the Korean centre-back. Shaheen Abdullah out wide. Cho Yu-min. Won by Meloni to Luan Pereira. Turned away from the initial challenge of Yusuf. In his desperation to get back at him, fouled him. Luan Pereira, who represented Brazil at under 17 level. Switched nationalities though this year to play for the United Arab Emirates. Coming to terms with the fact that they won't be at the World Cup next summer, beaten by Iraq in the playoffs to go through to the intercontinental playoffs. Iraq now facing Bolivia or Suriname to qualify for the World Cup in March after that 2-1 win against the United Arab Emirates. Free kick floated into the box. It was a teasing delivery. Shaheen is up there. Luckily get it away. Fed into the box again. Here's Manai, held up by Ibanez and cleared away by Ziad Al-Jahani. Ibanez storming right from the centre-back. And the challenge on him is going to produce the first yellow card of the evening. Cho Yu-min frustrated. Really positive play though from Ibanez. "17 caps for Korea Republic. Ibanez. Cho Yu-min with the header. Here's Mahrez picking up the loose ball but ran into Meloni. Usually a wing-back or a full-back Meloni, but looks as though he's playing the left side of a back three this evening for Sharjah. Here's Rashid. And now Shaheen. Cho Yu-min. Meloni in support. Luan Pereira now in possession. Turned into trouble though. And that's a foul by Meloni, and it's a free kick for Ahli for the challenge on Ziad Al-Jahani. Yusuf. Good touch on the edge of the area from Mio. Shaheen Abdullah clears it away. Another United Arab Emirates international, Shaheen, the Sharjah captain. Chance to deliver now right the way through. And here's Riyad Mahrez. Touch back to the edge of the box, fired in by Ziad. And a second bite at it is gathered by Adil Al-Hazani in the Sharjah goal. Fahad Al-Rashidi with the opportunity. Didn't get hold of it in the way he would have liked though, and Al-Hazani down to make the save. for the first time, a problem in the Sharjah penalty area. Just his 6th appearance tonight, Fahad Al-Rashidi, in all competitions. He's yet to score in this campaign. Joined Al-Ahli from Al Town in 2023. Minutes gone, 0-0. I think Sharjah will be relatively happy with the start to the game. Juan Pereira. Home game to come next, but a really tough one against Al Hilal. And they travel to Al Duhail before finishing off against Nasaf of Uzbekistan. We'll touch back here to the edge of the penalty area. Too much on that, though. Hasn't really got into the game yet, the Brazilian Guilherme Biro. Now Ibanez over this. Very rare start for Abdulrahman Al-Sanbi in goal tonight for Al-Ahli. Very much second choice, of course, behind Mendy. His only previous appearance this season came in the King's Cup. Guilherme Biro stepping in to win that. Cho Yu-min up towards Manai. Biro made the run forward. It switched out to Juan Pereira, though, on this near side. We've seen plenty of it early on for Sharjah. Juan Pereira continues to work hard with and without the ball in this opening quarter of an hour for the visiting side. Talking to for Matthias Jaisel for coming out of his technical area. Rashid. Up towards Manai. Well, they haven't really settled down yet. You expect them to have a lot of the ball and control the tempo of this game, but Sharjah seeing almost as much of it. There's confirmation of that. Exactly 50-50 the possession. There's always the worry, of course, when you do take somewhat of a liberty with your team selection, that you could come unstuck. Do have Franck Kessier and Ivan Toney amongst the substitutes tonight. No concern there for Adel Al-Hazani in the Sharjah goal. Al-Hazani taking his time over this. Champions League 2 success last season for Sharjah, their first major trophy, major AFC trophy that is. Did win the Golf Champions League way back in 1991. There's Manai. Shown into the corner though. There's nowhere really for the Albanian to go there. Five goals in 15 appearances in all competitions this season. That's for club and country. One of those for Albania. Two in the Arabian Golf League for Sharjah. And two in this competition, both coming on the opening day against Al Gharafa. Sharjah have a corner. They'll be feeling fairly positive about the opening 18 minutes or so here. Side, remember, who haven't won away from home for 5 games. Going back to August, a 1-0 win away to Dibba in domestic football. Benabi with the corner. Headed away at the front post, flicked on by Ziad. Header away by Khaled. No touch off by Mio for Al Ahli. Ibanez. Now Suleiman. Ibanez, seeing plenty of it. Certainly the player at the back who's so comfortable in possession and bringing the ball out. That was left short though for Suror. And then Manai felt he was fouled there. I think he had a fair point as well. Certainly nowhere near the ball, Mohamed Suleiman. Shaheen Abdullah in towards Manai. The whistle goes though for the shove on Ibanez. Now Suleiman. No fluidity about the Al Ahli performance so far. Sharjah, remember last season beating Al Town, the side who are directly above Al Ahli in the Saudi Pro League table in the early weeks this season. 2-1 aggregate win, sending them to the final, in which they beat Lion City Sailors by 2-1. Benabi and Maloni, the 2 scorers in that final, both in the starting 11 here this evening. Here's Giambiro. It's a poor ball though to Manai, picked off by Yusuf. Cut out again though and cleared away by Cho Yu-min. Here's Ibanez. Fed out by Mio. Now Mohamed Suleiman. Well, neither goalkeeper's had a great deal to do so far. Sharjah will be more than happy with the way the game's going. The onus on Al Ahli really to try and produce something. Here's Suror. Pereira. Good use of the ball. Pereira almost got the shot away. Sarot. Now Meloni. Suleiman was there to block the delivery. And now the chase is on here for Saleh. Couldn't keep it in play though. Handful of caps for Saudi Arabia, Saleh. New signing for Ahli from Ahli. He was at Al Qadisiyah before that, and a short loan spell with Al Town. Cho Yu-min. Now Manai. Fended off the challenge of Suleiman, and here's Luan Pereira. Now Rashid. Out towards Khaled. Well, they don't look like a side who've been struggling of late, Sharjah, the way they've played in the opening spell here. Here's Meloni forwards. Back to the edge of the penalty area, and then the shot driven in and just wide from the lively Luan Pereira. He's trying to claim there was a deflection on that, and perhaps it should have been a corner, but at the moment you have to say Sharjah looking the more likely. They're showing the more imagination in and around the penalty area, and this man in particular, Luan Pereira. Matthias Geisler, I don't think he'll be too happy with what he's seen from his side so far this season. Take the FIFA Intercontinental Cup out of the equation, then Ahli pretty much unbeaten this season. Haven't lost at home, by the way, in this competition since a 4-2 loss to Al Hilal in August of 2019 in the round of 16. Their only defeat in 22 here in AFC Champions League competitions. They've lost just 6 of 60 home games at this level of continental competition, so daunting prospect for Sharjah, but they've set about it pretty well. Mohamed Yusuf, the player down for Ahli. Saudi Arabian under 23 international. Making his 3rd Champions League, AFC Champions League Elite appearance this season, but has only featured 7 minutes so far of the previous 2 appearances. So a real opportunity for him. It's his 13th appearance in all competitions, but mostly off the bench. And he certainly won't want to see this appearance curtailed by an early injury. Our club has enjoyed plenty of success, but haven't been champions of Saudi Arabia since 2016, so getting on for a near decade now. Haven't won either of the major domestic trophies, including the King's Cup, since completing the double in 2016. Finally lifted the ultimate club prize in Asian football last season. 2-0 win against Kawasaki Frontale. And on their home grounders too. And he's struggling here, Yusuf. He's desperate not to come off. Sharjah have the ball. And here's Cho Yu-min. Meloni steps away from Mahrez. He's been conspicuous by his absence so far in the opening half an hour here for Al Ahli, the Algerian captain of Al Ahli this evening. Suleiman. Saleh feeling he was fouled there, and so do a majority of the supporters inside this stadium. Sharjah just getting on with it though. Played out by Benabi. Not committing too many bodies forward when they counter Sharjah. Here's Biro. Juan Pereira, and a throw for Sharjah. Forward by Khaled. Ziyad's clearance blocked behind for a goal kick. Well, 10 points already, Al Ahli, in the league stage. Remember, 7 was enough for Pacticourt to qualify in 8th spot last season. Oh, opportunity there maybe, but Al Hassani reacting quickly enough to get it away. Cho Yu-min holding his hand up in apology to his teammates. Having started the game so well, last thing they want to do is give away a cheap opening goal. Touch back by Benabi. Now Khaled. Here's Ziyad. Looking for options, nobody really showing. Here's Riyad Mahrez. Now Suleiman. Disjointed look about Al Ahli so far in this first half, not at all like a team who have won their last 3 games. Ziyad. Currently on a 10-game unbeaten run. Just 1 defeat in 18. Here's Ziyad. Oh, no foul again on Yusuf. He feels he's not getting the rub of the green at the moment. Pereira. Nowhere really for him to go down that left side. Well covered by Ferras. Al Burakan, who must be frustrated as the Al Ahli centre forward tonight. He really hasn't had any service so far in this opening half an hour. Yusuf needs to keep a lid on it, growing more and more frustrated. And there was no need for that from either of them, really. Yusuf reacting and Juan Pereira holding on to the leg. Opportunity here now for Sharjah. Mahrez getting back though and dispossessing Benabi. It's been an opening half an hour, a few chances, but Sharjah still looking the more likely to create a noteworthy opportunity. Fahad felt he was fouled there, but the referee again waves play on, which he's trying to do in this first half, allowing the game to flow. Guillaume Biro. Fit in by Ferras, and it's a throw for Sharjah. Here's Benabi. Cho Yu-min with the header back. Wasn't the best header though. Shaheen Abdullah helped him out and Al Hazani cleared it away. Matteo Dams. On by Ibanez. Picked up by Yusuf. Now he does get the free kick. It continues to labour the point with Marcus Meloni. Well, needs to watch himself here, Yusuf. Only 22, a young player. There's been 2 or 3 signs now that his fuse is getting shorter. That'll be music to the ears of the Sharjah players. Short by Mahrez. Mia. Finding its way through, and that's a goal kick. Saleh suggesting he thought there was a touch on that. Al-Ahli are on a wonderful run in this competition. They're unbeaten in 22 Champions League games, 17 wins, 5 draws. Since they were hammered 5-2 in the Islamic Republic of Iran against Esteghlal back in April of 2021's group stage. Saror. Al-Ahli throw. And here's Suleiman. Back from Mio. Towards Ziad. Saleh coming across to help out as well. Dams will take the throw. 10 minutes left in the first half. No goals. No significant chances really for either team. Here's Yusuf. Now Ziad. No real pressing from Sharjah until Al-Ahli have the ball deep in their half. No content with staying organised and staying in shape. Ibanez back to Al-Sambi. Here's Yusuf. Enzo Mio. Creative point of that Al-Ahli midfield, but there's not too many opportunities to create. That's a good ball though to Feras Al-Burakan. Now Saleh turned into trouble. Here's Mio again. Feeds it back to Suleiman, and here's Ibanez. Clipped out wide to Yusuf. Now Mio. Yusuf. That's a corner if it goes. Off the foot of Marcus Meloni. Mahrez was coming short initially, but he's coming across to take the corner, the Algerian. Solid header away from Ryan Manai. Still plenty forward for Ahli. Ferras with the header on. Now Pereira did well, held on to the ball. And earns his side a free kick and a bit of respite. Return to domestic action here on Friday against Al Qadisiyah in the King's Cup, Ahli. The next Champions League Elite encounter away to Al Shorta. Side who Al Hilal will be playing tomorrow. Here's Mahrez. Ferris is up with him. Mahrez with the ball in towards Saleh. Suleiman has given that away to Pereira. Suleiman got the ball, but it was a hefty collision on Pereira and he's stayed down. Here's Saleh though. Played through towards Ferras. And Juan Pereira is still down. It wasn't a foul, but it was a painful one. Suleiman getting the ball, but then the collision afterwards. There's no way either player could pull out of it. In fact, when you see the replay there, it was actually more dangerous for Mohamed Suleiman. Fortunately, both players seem to be okay. You could do without losing him, Sharjah. He's been really lively. Juan Pereira, the one who's really carried the fight towards Ahli in this first half. Saleh in towards Ferras, and then claimed by Al Hazani. Benabi. Here's Pereira. Back on and running the defence again and fired it towards the front post. Now Sambi blocking it away. I think he was trying to pull it back rather than go for goal there, Juan Pereira. But again, he continues to cause problems defensively for Ahli. Potential awkward moment. And a moment of hope for those cheering on Sharjah. Benabi with the corner. It's a low outswinger. Driven back in first time. And the wrong side of the post. I don't think Al Sambi was overly concerned, but again it's Sharjah, the team, who are asking the more questions offensively. Khaled Ibrahim with the effort past the post. Again, half a chance, nothing more than that. Here's Ziad Al-Jahani. Yaisla will dip into his bench for Kessié and Ivan Toney in the second half. This is a promising run forward though from Yusuf. Well, Ahli continue to appeal for everything. Geisler certainly feeling that one or two things haven't gone his way. Saleh and Mio being told in no uncertain terms to get away from the assistants. It's a good run from Yusuf. And there's the initial challenge outside the box, and then he may have a point, but then the way he goes down inside the penalty area, it's never really going to gain in favour with any referee. Such a delayed reaction from Mohamed Yusuf. And I think potentially born out of frustration of a few decisions that he feels haven't gone his way. Yilgiz Tantashev, though, the Uzbekistani referee, doing a terrific job in allowing the game to flow, despite the fact it's a game of few chances. Rashid's header on towards Benabi. Now Biro. Support from Khaled. Four points in the bag so far, Sharjah. They probably feel another win and maybe a draw might be enough to see them into the top 8. Some good sides behind them, though. Al Gharafa, Al Sadd. Khaled with the cross in towards the head of Pereira. Easy gather again for Al Sambi. Now Ziad. Out to Matteo Dams. Now Mio. Here's Mahrez. Touchback by Mahrez. Mio might fancy this and lifts it over the top. It's pretty much the first shot in anger that Al Ahli have had, though, in this first half. Mio, a player more than capable of finding the target from that sort of range, the 23-year-old Frenchman. 3 goals in this season's AFC Champions League Elite. Two of them coming in the 4-2 win against Nassaf, the other against Al Gharafa. They've got bodies forward here, Sharjah. Pereira making the run through the centre. And the shot blocked away, comes to Pereira now, and that was a poor effort. Roger Ibanez is okay. The challenge with Rashid caused the problem for the Brazilian. Ibanez. Brazilian again stepping in. Halfway through the 3 minutes to be added on at the end of this first half is Raimane. He's given that away, though. One back by Saleh. Both teams struggling to keep hold of the ball for any length of time. Is Pereira taking on Yusuf. Well, it took 3 of them to dispossess Pereira. There's Ferraz. And now did Pereira get involved on this near side here? Well, the assistant was right there. And I think the red card has come out here, is it, for Luan Pereira? Well, that's crazy from Luan Pereira to get himself involved. He's been Sharjah's best player. And it looked as though it was Mohamed Yusuf who was threatening to boil over. But it is a red card for Luan Pereira. And there is the incident. And no surprise, it's Mohamed Yusuf who's involved. Those two have been at each other the whole of the first half. And Sharjah's task has just got a whole lot harder now. Luan Pereira sent off. And of course, not only the fact he will miss the rest of this game, he will miss the home tie with Al Hilal in late December. And that's madness from Luan Pereira. And his coach will be absolutely fuming with him. Of course, Yusuf made a great deal of it, but you cannot react like that. And he's going across to double check now. Ilgiz Tantashev. It's not a headbutt, is it? It's shoulder on shoulder. It's still a crazy thing to do. I mean, Mohamed Yusuf deserves a card, really, of some colour for his reaction to it. But you cannot do that, Luan Pereira, off the ball. Bygone era, it would have been fine, not in today's game. There's no need for him to be holding his face, though, Yusuf. Let's see what the referee makes of this. And it looks as though it's going to be rescinded. It is just a yellow. A massive reprieve then for Luan Pereira. And Luan Pereira stays on. Well, this could get really interesting, couldn't it, later in the game if he produces a bit of magic. Fourth official down there in a discussion with Matthias Geisler, the Al Ahli coach. Pereira almost through the middle there. Saror looking for him. So that individual battle that's been going on between Luan Pereira and Mohamed Yusuf can continue. Here's Biro. Clipped forward by Cho Yu-min. And that's a free kick to Al Ahli now. Ziad over this free kick. Tell you what, half-time coming at the right time for both teams, I think. One or two tempers beginning to boil over. Turning into a niggly contest. And it is going to be an intriguing second half. No goals then in the opening 45 minutes at the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium. Sharjah have come here largely to frustrate Al Ahli. They've done that. They've been well organised defensively. And one or two tempers beginning to boil over. It looked as though Luan Pereira had fallen foul of that, shown a red card for barging into Mohamed Yusuf off the ball. The referee, though, taking a look at a replay and downgrading the red to a yellow, much to the relief of Sharjah and Luan Pereira. In terms of goalmouth action, there's not been a great deal. Both teams struggling to create at half-time. It is Al Ahli 0, Sharjah 0.
world's best airline for a record 9th time, flying high as the champion in the sky. And this year, even higher, best airline in the Middle East, world's best business class, best business class lounge. And yes, still a Skytrax 5-star airline. That's a lot of bests, but none of it happens without the best passengers. Thank you for flying with us, and for voting for us. We go further because of you. Everyone's crazy about football. But boxing, that's a never-ending game of tennis. One more move.
نتيجة الشوط الأول الأهلي 0 الشاهد 0.
لأنها خطوة إنك تسوي شيء كأنك تشوفه مستحيل وهذا اللي يميزك.
Welcome back to the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium in Jeddah. Ahli 0, Sharjah 0 at half-time. Both teams really struggling to create a significant first-half opportunity. The big moment coming in first-half stoppage time when Juan Pereira was initially shown a red card for barging into Mohamed Yusuf. And the referee going across to take a look at the monitor, downgrading the red card to a yellow, which meant that Sharjah kept a hold of their outstanding player of the first half. Ahli, though, need the win to go to the top of the West Region League stage. As it stands, they would move on to 11 points on the same points and same goal difference as the Iranian side Tractor, but a point behind Al Hilal, who play Al Shorta tomorrow. For Sharjah, they would move on to 5 points, which would give them a 2-point advantage over Al Gharafa, 3 ahead of Al Saad, and Al Shorta still to play. It would be a very useful point indeed in their quest for a top 8 finish and a place in the knockout stage. So the second half underway then at the King Abdullah Sports City. Ahli 0, Sharjah 0. We've not seen a great deal from either side in the attacking third. More surprising from Ahli than it is from the visitors, but here's Biro with the touchback. Pereira shot just past the post, and now the flag does go up for offside, which initially looked to be the case. That made the move just a tad too early. Juan Pereira, that's why he stayed away from the ball and allowed Ben Arbi to have it. Once the ball came back to him, though, the offside decision was made. Here's Ibanez. What do we see from Kessier and in particular Ivan Toney in the second half for Ahli? They look so blunt as an attacking force. There's Saror. There's Biro outside him. There is Biro. Khalid Ebrahim on the overlap. Dam's doing enough, though. Khalid with the throw. Nobody really showing for him. Biro is only option. Ben Arbi came short temporarily. Khaled again. Ben Arbi. Biro beaten to the ball by the header of Ziad Al Jahani. Given the lack of a cutting edge from Ahli in this game, if Sharjah were to nick one, you never know. Ziad's header away. Saror with the header. Touched on again by Cho Yu-min. There's Saleh. Biro winning it back. Here's Ben Arbi. Switched out to Majid Saror. And now Pereira. Options in the centre, but Meloni not delivering. Wins the ball back off Mahrez. And Meloni's done really well here. Yusuf sticking to the task, though, and Mahrez helps him out. Cleared away by Mohamed Suleiman. And now the counter on here for Ahli. Faris Al-Burakan is in the centre. Saror got just enough on the ball. And then wins it at the second attempt. Not too much on that ball over the top, though. Well, Sharjah were beaten 4-1 in their domestic league by Banias on Friday. 4-0 down in that game. It was only a late consolation from the penalty spot, but a 5th successive defeat in all competitions. On paper, very little chance here this evening, but they've done well. Header away by Shaheen. Mahrez. Mahrez again, gets a second bite at it, still going. Saror with the foot in, but the whistle has gone. And Sharjah have the ball. It's been a quiet night for Riyad Mahrez so far. It's won Champions Leagues in Asia and in Europe now. 2023 with Manchester City, and then the Champions League Elite last season with Ahli, an Africa Cup of Nations winner in 2019 with Algeria. Won everything the game could offer in Europe with Manchester City. Saror trying to play it through. Yusuf happy to see it out. It's been a testing evening for the Ahli right back Mohamed Yusuf up against Luan Pereira. Not just in the footballing sense. There's been a real niggle between the two of them. It's looking as though it would be the youngster who would snap, but it was Luan Pereira, who remains very lucky to still be on. Has had to battle up there, the Albanian centre forward with very little services. Saleh. Now Mahrez. Strong challenge. Referee happy to wave play on though, as he generally has done throughout this game. Here's Ziad. Back on his feet again. Here's Enzo Mio. Ziad. Ferraz. Now Rashid for Sharjah. Juan Pereira tackled, and here's Saleh. Helped on by Mahrez. Ziad back to Ibanez. Clip over the top towards Riyad Mahrez. Too much on it though. And Adel Hazani able to claim. He probably can't believe what a quiet night it's been for him, the Sharjah goalkeeper. Biro. Saror did well. Ibanez made sure he won it back though. Saror getting the foot in again. Here's Biro. Oh, that's a poor challenge from Enzo Mio. And that's going to be a yellow card for the Frenchman. Really late on Guillaume Biro. The third player into the book this evening, the first for Ahli. Biro's cross in, headed away by Ibanez. The referee coming across again to produce another yellow card for Shaheen Abdallah, the Sharjah captain. Certainly no quarter given this evening by either side. Painful one that for Faris Al-Burakan on the ankle. Well, if he wanted an answer tonight, Matthias Jaisler, about the strength and depth of his squad, he's probably had it, but not in the way that he would have wanted. Shaheen clips it forwards. Biro's header. Rashid under pressure and loses out. And the yellow cards are beginning to mount up now. Rashid, the latest into the book. 4 of the 11 out there now for Sharjah, walking the yellow card tightrope. Lost his footing there and didn't take too kindly to being nudged over by Saleh, and then a grab round the shin, stroke knee. It's always going to be a yellow card. Now Pereira, held up by Mio. Helped out by Yusuf. Here's Mio. No real room to play with over there. And he's the victim of another poor challenge. No card this time, though, for Marcus Meloni. But it is a free kick for Sharjah. Good skill from the Frenchman. There was seemingly nowhere to go, and yet made his way past 2 markers. Mahrez. Here's Ferraz. That's neat football. Delivery into the box towards Saleh. Biro with the touch on for Benabi. Here's Mahrez. Ferraz Al Burakan out to Dams. Mahrez. Taken away well by Majid Saru. He's had a good game in the centre of that midfield for Sharjah. Here's Ibanez. Challenge of Khaled, enough to put off the Brazilian. Manager Ibanez, who joined Ahli in 2023 from Roma. 4 seasons in Italy, 3 years with Roma, a couple with Atalanta prior to that. Made his name at Fluminense, the Rio Giants. And there is movement down there on the Sharjah bench. It's going to be a double change. Igor Coronado and Feta Fatah, the 2 to come on. So Benabi makes way for Coronado. And Majid Rashid is the other player to come off. Feta Fatah replacing him. So one of those on a yellow card makes way. Well, they've had to work hard with and without the ball, Sharjah. Igor Coronado in his first season with Sharjah, after joining from Corinthians. His second spell at the club. He was previously here between 2018 and 2021 before returning to Brazil with Corinthians via Al Ittihad. So knows all about Jeddah, having played for Al Ahli's city rivals. Fatah, an Albanian under-21 international who's on loan with Sharjah from Lokomotiv Zagreb in Croatia. Suleiman into Saleh. Now Dams. Faris Al-Burakan coming out of the middle and operating in the channels to try and involve himself in the game. Makes his way into the penalty area. The ball doesn't come back to him though, and then Dams is blocked by Khaled Ibrahim. Suleiman. Here's Ibanez. Al-Shorter, Al-Wada and Shabab Al-Ahli to come for Al-Ahli. So in the last 4 games, 3 of them will be against clubs from the United Arab Emirates. This is the first. Ball driven across into the penalty area. Nobody unable to get on the end of it. Fahad clips it back. Too high again for Faris. Now Manai. Coronado. There's Maris. Saleh just checking his run. And now Riyad Mahrez. Saleh makes his way into the centre with Faris. Mahrez twisting and turning. Can't find the gap to get the shot away though, and it's a corner for Al-Ahli. Inside the last half an hour, 0-0. Not a great deal has changed from the first half in the opening 15 of the second. Terrific atmosphere being generated by the Al-Ahli supporters. Don't know much from their team to get excited about those so far tonight. And this looks as though it could be a problem. There's nobody around him at all when he goes down and grabs a hold of the ankle. And that reaction suggests that his night is probably over. Took a knock in the first half. I wonder if it's the remnants of that from Mohamed Yusuf. 4th corner for Al-Ahli. Mahrez over it. In swinger from Mahrez, a low delivery though. Very easily dealt with. It's going to be a goal kick for Sharjah. Galeno is coming on. Enzo Mio making way. He's on a yellow card, remember. Riyad Mahrez is making way as well. Replaced by Mateus Martins. Quiet night for Riyad Mahrez. Al-Ahli fans still showing their appreciation though. And Mohamed Yusuf, the 3rd player to make way. Zakaria Hazorwi on to replace him. So a triple change for Ahli. Hazorwi with the throw. Fetai challenging for it, but loses out. It's fed out to Saleh. And then Galeno helps it on, but too much on that. .25 to go. Ahli 0, Sharjah 0. Bilo trying to win the ball back for Sharjah. Touch off by Galeno. Saleh to Hazorwi. Now Saleh slides it through the middle, cleared away by Shaheen. Saleh again, gets it back from Hazorwi. This is neat football and a long-range effort from Saleh. Got well underneath that and was nowhere near the target. Difficult night for Faras Al-Burakan. Up front for Ahli. Very little service yet to open his accounts in the AFC Champions League Elite this season. He's holding his hamstring, Cho Yu-min. Now he's going to be a big loss from the centre of Sharjah's defence. The Korean international, a key man at the back for Sharjah. Well, they travelled to Al at the weekend, Sharjah, which means that they'll have faced the last two winners of the AFC Champions League in the space of a week. So Cho Yu-min carried off. And here comes the replacement. Maro Katanic. Katanic, a 21-year-old Croatian defender. He's a Croatian under-21 international. make a second change as well. Mana Camera is coming on. And it's Ryan Manite who's coming off. So Camera on, the fourth change for Sharjah. 2 goals in 11 appearances this season. One coming in this competition in that 4-3 win against Al Gharafa. 20 minutes away from what would be a very good point for Sharjah. Fetai clears it away. There's Ibanez. The feeling was if they were to come away with this, with anything, it would be a case of digging in and hanging on, but it hasn't really been like that at all. Sharjah have been relatively comfortable. Ado Al-Hazani hasn't had a save to make. Still 2 more changes to make for Matthias Jaisler. Throw taken by Azoui. Foot in from Biro. Azoui gets plenty of distance on that, and then the header on is comfortably over. More movement maybe down on the Al Ahli bench. Hazani taking his time over this, and you can't blame him. Sharjah throw. Good sliding challenge from Shaheen. Touch over the top for Biro to chase after. Camera is in the centre. Up their 4 points in their opening 2 games, the 4-3 win against Al Gharafa. Followed by a 1-1 draw against Al Sadd, hammered 5-0 by Tractor and 3-0 by Al Ittihad, so are heading for a 3rd game without a goal, and having conceded 8 in their previous 2 will be delighted with how quiet they've kept Al Ahli in the opening 73 minutes of this game. Here's Pereira, quite a second half from him. .17 to go. Here's Ibanez. Those Al Ahli supporters still believing they have the quality to win this game, despite one of their poorest performances of the season so far. Ibanez. Clipped through the middle by Ibanez. It was a decent looking ball as well. In the end, just too much on it for Fahad, who had made the break from midfield. Pushed away again by Ibanez. Towards Saleh. Moved into a more central position since the introduction of the Brazilian Galeno. Fahad. There's Galeno. Needed some good control there, which I'm sure he has in his locker, but didn't produce it on this occasion. Player who spent 3 years in Portugal with Porto. 26 goals in 93 appearances. Braga before that. Some excitement among the Ahli supporters. As Ivan Toney gets ready to come on. Quarter of an hour to go. Roger Ibanez, one of those to make way from the centre of the Ahli defence. Quarter of an hour to go, 0-0. Made the evening, really, those supporters. With, in truth, not a great deal happening out there on the pitch. Sharjah more than happy with the point here. Another point for Ahli towards inevitable qualification for the knockout stage. So Fahad is coming off as well. Ivan Toney on. '29-year-old England international striker has a record this season of 1 in every 2 games, has scored 8 in 16 appearances. I think Franck Kessié thought he was coming on, and then he wasn't, because Ibanez is still out there. Made his way towards the touchline. Kessié puts his bib back on as a result. Ball played through the middle towards Ferraz. Mazoui. Saleh touched into the penalty area to Faris Al Burakan. Back again from Galeno to Hazoui. Sharjah can bring it away, not for long though. Not the best touch from Galeno, but it almost turned into a good pass. Scoring this season's yet to score in this competition, Ivan Toney. No goals in 3 previous appearances. Didn't feature at all in the win against Al Sadd. Over this for Sharjah. Khaled was an option short for him, but it's played back instead to Shaheen Abdullah. They've had more of the ball now, Ahli. That was split 50-50 for most of the first half. Hazani remains completely untroubled in the Sharjah goal. Up and under from Dams towards Tony, who gets his first touch with a flick on. Tony again. From Ferres. Ahli ball. Matthias Eisler again being spoken to about his technical area. Azoui with the long throw straight into the hands of Al-Hazani. Ibanez coming across. Well, that's a handball by Camara. Very fortunate not to see a yellow card for that. Clearly touched the ball away from Ibanez with his hand. Ivan Tony with the touch off to Dams. Cut out by Khaled. Too much on that though for Camara. It's been the story of the game really for both teams. Here's Ziad. Azoui. Ziad again. Ibanez. Left that far too short. Meloni stepping in. And now through the middle towards Camara, who's got there ahead of the goalkeeper and tucks it into the corner. And Sharjah lead with 9.5 minutes to go. Usmana Camara, the substitute, scoring the goal that could cause a real upset tonight in the AFC Champions League Elite. Fabulous finish. Talk about taking your chances. Usman Camara, and a novel celebration as well. Well, Sharjah, a team who haven't been able to buy a win of late, could be about to pick up a massive 3 points here, taking full advantage of Matthias Eisler's heavy rotation with his team. It's a lovely ball through and a lovely finish from Camara. Al-Hazani coming out, he was committed, couldn't retreat, and that is a deft little touch from Camara to give Sharjah the shock lead here. Well, 8 minutes to go. And now we'll have to see what Al-Ahli are made of. Remember, unbeaten in domestic football and Champions League Elite football this season. Their only loss coming in the FIFA Intercontinental Cup. And they are 7.5 minutes away here from their first loss. And now Franck Kessié is coming on. He replaces Saleh. Into the penalty area, the overhead kick, and it's straight at the goalkeeper. Al-Hazani, right place, right time. Put back in by Azoui, he's gone right the way through. And it will be another corner for Al-Ahli. The panic button has been well and truly pressed now by the Champions League Elite holders and Ferres Al-Burakan. It would have been a spectacular way to open his account in this competition this season. Cross into the box again, too high for Ibanez. This is why we love Champions League football. What an upset this would be. Sharjah beaten in their last 5 games, hammered 4-1 at the weekend. And now winning at the home of the defending Asian champions. Ahli unbeaten here at home since 2019 in this competition. And they're on the back foot again now. Coronado twisting and turning. Ivan Toney back there helping out. That was a foul by Coronado. This would be only their 2nd home loss in this competition in the last 23 games. I don't think anybody would have had this down as an away win. Given not just the historic form of the 2 teams in this competition, but the current form as well. Yellow card for Mateus Gonçalves. The header down towards Toney. That would have been an awkward one for Al Hazani. Fired it into the ground. As things stand, it's not as a result that's going to affect Al Ahli's qualification chances with 10 points. They probably already have enough to ensure their place in the knockout stage. And an opportunity to climb to the top of the league stage, at least for 24 hours. Looking as though it's been passed up here, and they will slip from 2nd to 3rd with Tractor's win earlier. Galeno looking for the spectacular. Move from panic button to desperation stakes now for Al Ahli. Well, this result will be on him with his team selection. He'll have to take that on the chin. Matthias Geisler. First ever meeting between these 2 clubs. It's just 3.5 minutes plus stoppages away from being an upset win for Sharjah. Side, remember, 11th. 4th from bottom in the United Arab Emirates Pro League. It has been an awful campaign for Sharjah. But what a boost this would be if they could hold on. Ferras with the cross in. It wasn't a bad delivery either. Ivan Toney, the only one anywhere near it, and even he didn't make a move. Now Kessier's cross. Header out by Shaheen. Azori hits it. And it's off target. Well, where was this from Al Ahli earlier in the game? Just had the feeling, didn't you, the longer it went on, that Sharjah might fancy their chances of nicking something, and they've done that. Can they hold out? They'd have been delighted with a 0-0 draw. They'd be absolutely distraught now if it finishes 1-1. This would be a massive win for them. Camera. A win if it stays like this that will take Sharjah above Al Ahli's Jeddah rivals Al Ittihad in the table, up to 7th with 7 points. Seven points was enough for the top 8 last season, so probably feel that 1 or 2 points more would certainly guarantee them a place in the round of 16. What a moment for him. It was Ibanez's ball that was cut out by Meloni. His touch off and then the through ball to Cameron. It's a great finish. Lovely ball by Luan Pereira. Had a feeling, didn't we, when the red card was rescinded, that he may well play his part at some point, and he's done that with a lovely assist. Look at the celebrations amongst the Sharjah contingent. Lost one and drawn one of their 2 away in the Champions League Elite this season. They've not won for 5 away in this competition. Cross into the box. Oh, the goalkeeper dropping it. Hazani raising his teammates' heart rate just for a second. Azoui with the throw. And it's going to be thrown into the mixer. Sharjah with plenty back. Shaheen will challenge. Oh, it's fallen for the shot, and it's in! Ziad Al-Jahani has snatched an equaliser for Ahli and broken the hearts of Sharjah. Just as they were on the cusp of a magnificent upset, but hold on a minute. The flag is up for offside. Well, the conversation will continue. And the Ahli celebrations cut short. Looked as though they'd saved their unbeaten record here in this competition. I'm not sure about that. There doesn't look to be an offside. The only player offside in that was Faris Al-Burakan. I don't think he played any part in that goal at all. Looking at that replay, I'll be amazed if it doesn't stand. Ziad Al-Jahani certainly wasn't offside at any point. There's a yellow card coming out here. And the VAR check continues. And it's Edouard Mendy who's been booked down there on the bench. Frustrating to pick up a yellow card when you haven't even played. Could cost him later in the competition. That replay, you've only had one look at it, but I think this might stand. Faris Al-Burakan was the only player offside. I'm not sure he played any part in that move at all. And Ziad Al-Jahani certainly wasn't offside. Well, it must be tight, whatever they're checking, because it's taking a while. 7 minutes to be added on before this check, so it's going to be significantly longer now. Agonising wait for Sharjah. We're on the cusp of an historic win here against Ahli. And the decision is no goal. Well, it would certainly be worth another look. It wasn't an obvious offside, but maybe it was something involved in secondary play that Faris Al-Burakan was involved in. There he is, he's offside there. As the ball is played forwards. Doesn't really challenge for the ball, does he? But maybe his presence was enough alone to put off Khaled, the Sharjah defender. Cleared away by Dams. That's a second VAR reprieve that Sharjah have been the beneficiaries of tonight. The red card for Luan Pereira downgraded. Prijovic has just been introduced to the action for Sharjah. defender Vladimir Prijovic. Al-Ahli throw. Ibanez. Well, they've certainly ridden their luck tonight with those two big VAR decisions, Sharjah, but then they were always going to have to if they were to get anything here. Notoriously difficult place to come and win the King Abdullah Sports City against Al-Ahli. Here's Ivan Toney, cleared away by Shaheen. Al-Ahli, along with Al-Wada, Traktor and Al-Hilal, one of 4 teams with an unbeaten record in the AFC Champions League Elite this season in the West region. Ozoi with the cross in. One of those O's is about to go, as they say. Ibanez. Unless Al-Ahli can find another goal. They thought they'd saved themselves once. Ziad's goal ruled out. Kessier. Challenge from Coronado, but Al-Ahli still have it. Plenty of white shirts in the penalty area. And that's a goal kick. They're defending for their lives here, Sharjah. Heading for just their 2nd win in their opening 5 games, but a massive 3 points. A club who have won just 4 of their 22 away games that they've ever played in this competition. And win number 5 is going to be mightily memorable. Foul by Camera. Sharjah just need to continue to stifle and frustrate. Ziad. Ibanez. Unable to be swung into the box. Feta Fatai with the block. Here's Dams. Space for Hazoi. Now Galeno just needs to send it in there, but Sharjah winning everything. Camera, what an impact from the bench from Usmana Camera. It's a goal that's going to go down in Sharjah folklore. They've certainly had some memorable moments in continental competition, winning the inaugural AFC Champions League 2 last season. And now seconds away from a win in Jeddah against Al-Ahli, at the ground where Al-Ahli were crowned Asian champions last season. Ibanez. Time beginning to run out. No way through there for Mateus Gonçalves. Gets a second bite at it though. Kessier. Now Ibanez. Back into the danger zone. Shaheen almost beaten to it. Well, that's the confirmation of the offside. We knew that he was in an offside position, but the question is how much involvement was there in the goal itself? It may have just been that he was close enough to Khaled Ibrahim to prevent him from making a challenge for the ball. Fatai's header. Touch back by Biro. He gets it again. Camera's ahead of him. He's run offside now, though. And look at the Sharjah players down there in the technical area, getting ready to celebrate. This would be a massive victory for them. Mateus Gonçalves. Oh, Kessié, does he have the angle? Well defended though by Prijovic. It's an Al Ahly corner as we move into the 10th minute of stoppage time here in Jeddah. Well, the faces of the Al Ahly supporters say it all. They weren't expecting this. Header away by Coronado, and Dams puts too much on it, and it drifts harmlessly behind for a goal kick. Well, he won't escape criticism, Matthias Geisler, for his team selection. An unbeaten record about to go. Qualification not in doubt, but it hurts. First significant defeat of the season, really, in regular competition, if you don't include the FIFA Intercontinental Cup, where they were beaten here by the Egyptian side, Pyramids. Meloni with the throw, and he's going to take his time over it. Won just one of their last 9 games, Sharjah, in all competitions. Still we go on though. Suleiman. Al Ahly supporters willing their side forward. Mateus Gonçalves clips the ball into the box again. Ziyech played into the danger zone. Kessié's there. Now Hazani closes him down. It is an extraordinary victory for Sharjah. Al Ahly beaten for the first time in the West Region League of the AFC Champions League Elite. Sharjah snatching the win 9 minutes from time, courtesy of substitute Ousmane Camara's goal. And a first ever meeting between these two sides in continental competition results in a real upset. A massive 3 points for Sharjah. It has finished here. Al Ahly 0, Sharjah 1.
Final score for this match: Ahli AFC 0 Sharjah AFC 1. النتيجة النهائية لهذه المباراة: النادي الأهلي 0 نادي الشرقاوي